PT Village was home to many butchers. Yet none was more famous than T's family, whose 3 generations had made their living through slaughtering animals. T's grandfather specialized in slaughtering livestock and preparing meals for French soldiers stationed in military camps during the French colonial period. Having inherited his father's remarkable culinary talent, T's father became an excellent cook. His pig offal and fresh blood pudding restaurant, located on the village dike, was always crowded with customers. Although the family had long been well known, it was not until T's generation that the business truly flourished. From the age of 6, T's father fed him a bowl of fresh pig's blood and a steaming hot pig's gallbladder every morning. Whether because of this unusual diet or not, T grew rapidly, becoming exceptionally strong and robust. Naturally, he inherited the family trade. His slaughtering skills became extraordinary. With lightning speed, a single blow from his heavy mallet would strike a pig across the neck, knocking it unconscious before it could even squeal. One after another, pigs collapsed within seconds. At 19, T married H, an 18-year-old hardworking and capable young woman whose father owned the most famous dog meat restaurant in the neighboring village. After marrying H, T's business prospered even more. During the weeks before Lunar New Year, he slaughtered more than 10 pigs a day, making money effortlessly. In 2000, the couple built a luxurious 3-story mansion whose extravagant blend of Eastern and Western architecture towered above the village bamboo groves. In an agricultural village like PT, the mansion looked as magnificent as a royal palace. Yet despite admiring the house, many villagers quietly looked down on T's family.
They're butchers. They may be rich, but without education, there's nothing honorable about it.
The village elders often remarked over cups of tea.
The slaughtering trade brings little blessing. I've watched for decades, and most butcher families in this village end badly. Misfortune eventually reaches their descendants.
They recalled many examples. One couple who had slaughtered pigs their entire lives never had children. In old age, both suffered strokes, became bedridden, and their bodies deteriorated horribly. When they died, the local authorities had to arrange their funerals because no family remained to care for them. Another butcher who owned a dog meat restaurant near the village temple developed liver cancer at only 39 years old. Reduced to skin and bones, he spent his final days moaning in agony. Even T's own grandfather met a gruesome death. One early morning while boiling water to slaughter pigs, he either fainted or fell asleep, collapsing face first into the blazing stove. By the time his family found him, the skin on his face had been burned away, leaving it pale and raw like a freshly scraped pig carcass. T's father also died suddenly while still in his early 50s. After chatting with the temple caretaker one afternoon, he complained of chest pain and returned home to rest. Moments later, his wife screamed for help. Neighbors found him unconscious. As the doctor checked his pulse and blood pressure, his body convulsed violently before he vomited a large amount of blood. Even after death, fresh blood continued to seep from his mouth, horrifying everyone who witnessed it. The villagers often concluded,
"Everything in life is impermanent. Every cause has its consequence. T may be prosperous today, but no one knows when disaster will arrive."
Growing up uneducated and surrounded by bloodshed, T became coarse and vulgar. Besides drinking and pursuing women, he had few interests. Obsessed with maintaining his physical strength, he spent lavishly on supposed health tonics. Eventually he became acquainted with horse traders from BG and SL provinces, who praised the extraordinary medicinal value of white horse gelatin. Fascinated, T began collecting white horses. On the last Sunday of every month, he would buy an entire horse, slaughter it at home, sell the meat in the market, and boil the bones into medicinal gelatin, keeping some for himself while selling the rest. One day, a trader from SL delivered an exceptionally rare white horse. Its eyes were bronze-colored. Its hooves, lips, muzzle, and nose were pinkish white without a single black spot. Under lamplight at night, its eyes glowed like burning coals. Even its skin and hooves possessed unusual coloration. The trader warned him, "This mare is pregnant. If you're concerned, wait until she gives birth before slaughtering her." After nearly 30 years as a butcher and having no religious beliefs whatsoever, T dismissed the warning without hesitation. That evening, H walked downstairs near the horse stable. Suddenly she screamed. T rushed over. "What happened?" Pale with fear, H stammered.
"I looked into the stable and saw a woman lying there, holding a child and crying. I looked again and still saw them. The mother looked at me with pleading eyes. I think it's a terrible omen. Please don't kill that white horse.
T burst into laughter. You've watched too many ghost movies. Soon you'll mistake me for a dog and stab me too. Stop imagining things and go to bed. Before dawn, everyone had gathered in the courtyard. The slaughtering equipment was ready. Water boiled furiously in the giant cauldron. Trung's 16-year-old youngest son entered the stable to lead the horse out. No matter how hard he pulled, beat, or shouted, the mare refused to stand. When T himself entered, something remarkable happened. The mare slowly rose. Then she bent both front knees, almost as if kneeling in supplication. Tears streamed from her bronze-colored eyes. A friend named C urged T not to kill the horse. T dismissed the warning. His muscular arm swung the heavy steel hammer like lightning, striking the mare squarely on the head. She collapsed instantly. Without hesitation, T drew his tiny razor-sharp knife, only about 2 finger widths long, and sliced cleanly across her throat. Within 15 minutes, the enormous horse had been reduced to separate piles of meat, bones, and organs. The unborn foal, not yet fully formed, was washed with ginger water at T's instruction before being preserved in a jar of rice wine. That afternoon, while his wife and one of his sons collected payments from customers, T held a lavish feast at home. The guests drank white horse medicinal wine while eating horse meat. Suddenly shouting erupted outside. Someone screamed.
Mr. T, go to the highway. Your wife and son are dead.
T dropped everything and raced toward the scene. At the roadside ditch near the village entrance, a crowd had gathered. Forcing his way through, he froze in horror. His wife and son lay crushed beneath the front wheels of a large truck. Blood poured from their noses, mouths, and ears. Their Honda lead scooter had been completely destroyed. Later, the truck driver testified, I was driving about 50 kilometers per hour when I suddenly saw a huge white horse standing directly in front of my truck. I instinctively swerved left, and at that exact moment their motorcycle entered my path. The vehicle plunged into the ditch. The driver escaped with his own life but was horrified upon seeing the victims beneath his truck before fleeing the scene. The tragic accident occurred at the end of September. Barely a month later, in early November, Trung's eldest son, born in 1974, collapsed and died unexpectedly. Unlike his father, he was well educated and worked as the director of a company in Quen province. Healthy and in the prime of life, he had shown no signs of illness. One evening, while watching television, he complained of fatigue and a headache before going to bed. Around midnight, he suffered violent convulsions. Blood gushed from his nose and mouth. He died before reaching the hospital. Terrified, T consulted a fortune teller. The fortune teller declared,
Your family is being pursued by a vengeful spirit.
After hearing about the pregnant white horse, the fortune teller concluded that the horse's spirit was seeking revenge. From then on, T devoted himself to elaborate rituals. He offered expensive sacrifices, invited monks to perform ceremonies to resolve karmic resentment, and sponsored memorial services for the horse's spirit, spending hundreds of millions of dong. For a while, everything seemed peaceful. Then, shortly after Lunar New Year, T's third son fell mysteriously ill. Strong as an athlete and expected to inherit the family slaughtering business, he suddenly lost his appetite, became exhausted, and could barely sleep. Whenever he managed to doze off, terrifying nightmares plagued him, horses kicking him, dogs attacking him, vehicles crashing into him, and deafening screams. His family took him to both traditional and modern hospitals. Doctors found nothing physically wrong. Yet he continued wasting away. That summer, he died. Now deeply frightened, T finally began recalling the village's warnings. He started believing in karma. In less than a year, he had lost 4 family members, his wife and 3 sons. Only his youngest 17-year-old son remained. Determined to protect him, T stopped slaughtering animals. He personally drove his son to and from school every day. He forbade him from playing soccer or swimming. One afternoon, while T was asleep, the boy quietly slipped away to swim with friends. The large pond in front of the village communal house was a favorite swimming place. Although the boy was an excellent swimmer, for reasons no one understood, he drowned. His body was not recovered until late afternoon. Seeing his son's swollen, pale body, its skin resembling that of a freshly scraped pig, T cried out in anguish. Suddenly, dark blood poured from the boy's nose and mouth. Everyone who witnessed the scene was horrified. The death of his last surviving son completely destroyed T. He drowned himself in alcohol. When drunk, he alternated between crying, cursing, and lamenting his fate. Then one day, the house fell strangely silent. Concerned neighbors peered through the door. They found T lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Breaking inside, they discovered a deep cut across his throat. Blood was still flowing. Clutched tightly in his right hand was the same small, razor-sharp knife, only 2 finger widths long, the very knife he had used months earlier to slit the throat of the pregnant white horse.